Last class we have observed very clearly what we have seen the last class. In that last class, steps to prepare first web application we have seen. In that first web application we have few steps. The first step is download and install the server software. Next, second one, create web application directory structure. Third one, prepare deployment descriptor. And the fourth one, prepare web resources. Fifth step, start the server and deploy the web application. And the sixth one, access the web application. Okay, now these are the 6 steps is available. In that 6th steps, last class we have seen the first step. Which step last class we have seen? Download and install the server software. Offline people, I think everyone, you guys having a Apache Tomcat server installation. You guys know how to start the server, how to install the server, everything you guys have some knowledge. Okay. Last class we know how to install the server software. Okay. Again I'll show you how to start the server. I'll show you. Then we'll go through that second step, that is nothing but create web application directory server. Okay, how to start the server is nothing but go to file manager. In that file manager, where sir? Desktop. This PC. Next, C drive. Here we have program files is available. Go to that program files. Next here Apache Software Foundation is available. Click on that Apache Software Foundation. Inside that Tomcat 10.1 is available. Click on that. Next here there are lot of folders is available. Now today we'll discuss about all the folder structure. Okay, each and everything we will discuss. Next, after that, go to inside the bin folder. Inside the bin folder, here we have Tomcat 10. Okay, double click on the Tomcat 10. The server will be start now. What happened? Now the first step is completed, that is nothing but download and install the server software. Now we'll go through that second step, that is nothing but create web application directory structure. Okay, what is the second step here? Create web application directory. Create web application directory structure. Okay, now we'll go to that word, sir. Create web application directory structure. Okay, now done. In this case, observe very clearly here what I am saying. Okay, observe very clearly here what I am writing. After the installation of Tomcat 10.1 server. Okay, after the installation of Tomcat 10.1 server, we have to create our own web application, otherwise our own application. We have to create our own application under the web apps folder. This is the very important folder, web apps folder. I will show you what is the folders available, everything I will show you. Okay, web apps folder. Okay, web apps folder in the Tomcat 10.1 folder. Okay, 10.1 folder. Okay, now where we have to first of all observe very clearly, after installation of the Tomcat 10.1 server, we have to create our own application. Where we have to create our own application? Under the web apps folder. Where the web app folders is available? After clicking on the Tomcat 10.1, here one folder is available, that is nothing but web apps. Okay, now I will show you all the folders also, don't worry. In that web apps folder, here we have to create our application. Okay, now clear what I am saying? Are you able to understand, sir, everyone? Done. Now observe very clearly. Now I will show you the structure of the web applications, directory structure. I will show you. In this case, observe very clearly. First here I am writing here. Here we have Tomcat 10.1 folder is available. Say sir, no sir. First which folder is available here? Tomcat 10.1 folder is available. Something. Don't want this much big. Okay na? So like that here one folder is available. What is the folder name here? Tomcat 10.1. Okay, just Apache Software Foundation is there na? Click on that Apache Software Foundation. Which folder is available here? Response are Tomcat 10.1 folder is available. Say yes or no, sir? Inside the Tomcat 10.1 folder, here observe very clearly. Here few small again here we have few folders is available. Okay, now here we have few folders is available. What are the folders is available in the Tomcat 10.1 is nothing but bin folder is available. Okay, now which folder is available here? First one, bin folder is available. Okay, now next after the bin folder here we have few folders available. Next like a conf folder is available. Conf is available or not, sir? Okay, now bin folder, conf folder, next lib folder. Okay, now lib folder is nothing but libraries folder. Next after that which folder is available? Work folder is available. Work folder. Next again logs is also available. Okay, na logs folder is available and temp folder is also available. Say yes or no, sir? How many folders is available? First one is a bin folder. Inside the bin folder here we have .exe files. Okay, now which files are .exe files, and we can say .bat files also. Okay, now .bat files also. .exe files is nothing but executable files. Okay, now executable files. Here if you want to start the server, what we have to do? Go to inside the Tomcat 10.1, inside the bin folder, .exe file only we are starting that. Okay, now so what are the files available in the bin folder here? Tell me. .exe files and bin folder. .exe files and .bat files. Next one here we have what? Configuration folder. Which folder is available? Configuration folder is available. In this configuration folder here we have .xml files. Okay, now .xml files. Okay, now for example if you want your username, password, all the stuff we can see in that configuration folder only. I'll show you that also. Next one is lib folder. Okay, now what is the next one here? Lib folder. Inside the lib folder here we have .jar files is available. Which files is available, sir? .jar files is available. Okay, 1 minute. Next last here which folder? This one here, work folder is available. Next here we have one folder called, what is the folder name here? Work folder. Work folder is available. Okay, now next after that here also logs is available. Okay, now which folder, sir? Logs folder is available. Inside the logs folder here we have .txt files, and we can say here we have temporary files. Okay, this is the very important stuff. Okay, the temporary files is an important stuff. Okay, I'll show you first of all. Okay, in the Tomcat 10.1 how many folders is available? Double click on the Tomcat 10.1. First bin folder is available. Observe, sir, bin folder is available. Second, conf folder is also available. Third, lib and logs work. Okay, now everything is available or not, sir? Response are everyone. Bin folder. Here the bin folder can contain .exe files and bat files. Exe is nothing but executable files. Okay, now next after that conf folder. Here you can check once in this conf folder here available. Tomcat users is available now inside that here. Okay, are you able to understand here? Tomcat users is available. 1 minute, I'll zoom. Where here? The Tomcat users is available now here. Click on that here. Inside the Tomcat users. Here you can observe very clearly the username, passwords is available here. Okay, now this XML file does not appear to have any style information associated with it. The document tree shown in below. Okay, and now no problem. now observe very clearly here. What is the username and password is available now here. Okay, now username Chandu and Chandu something. Okay, some username and passwords is also available. Okay, now. So this is the stuff about what, sir? Okay, na conf folder. Okay, na this is the story about what? Conf folder. Okay, next after that lib folder is a just like a lib folder can contain .jar files. Okay, temporary folder. This is an important, sir. Okay, temporary folder is an important folder. Okay, now why? Because why I am saying this temporary folder is an important folder is nothing but okay, each and every folder. Okay, now each and every we are creating an web applications now. Each and every application folder one duplicate will be created in that temporary files. Okay, now that is the stuff. Next, here we have lot of folders we are seeing inside the Tomcat 10.1. Say yes or no? One folder have missed. What is the folder here? Web apps folder. This is the hero. Okay, now this is the main folder. Observe very clearly. I have given one point also. Which point I have given? Observe very clearly. After the installation of the Tomcat 10.1 server, we have to create our own application under the web apps folder in the Tomcat 10.1. Okay, now where I have to create our my own folder? Web apps, inside the web apps folder. Okay, now observe very clearly here what I am saying. Done. Here I am going to create one folder called, what is the folder name, sir? Now tell me. Web apps folder. Done. Okay, now here I am creating about web apps folder. So whenever we are creating the web applications, where we have to create the web applications? Under the web apps only. Okay, now the web apps is already predefined folder only. Okay, now clear? Next, inside the web apps folder, now observe very clearly here what I am saying. Here I am creating another one folder, sir. Okay, now here I am creating inside the web apps folder. Here I am creating another one folder called web application folder, or we can say context root. Okay, now what I am saying here? Application folder, or we can say what? Context root. Okay, observe very clearly here I am writing application folder. Inside the or we can say what? Context root also. Context root. Done. Application folder, or we can say what? Context root. Okay, now observe very clearly here in this application folder is there na. Okay, now here I am giving high standards way, sir. Okay, while we are working real time working also really you can enjoy. Okay, observe very clearly what I am saying. In this application folder here I am creating few folders. Okay, this all are the user defined folders. We have to create like this only. Okay, now we have to create like this. For example, the folders is nothing but here I am creating one folder like a themes, or we can say images, images, or we can say literature. Okay, literature and SRC. Here the SRC is an important folder. Okay, now which folder is important here? SRC folder is important. Next after that HTMLs. Okay, and at a time some JSP also. So like that this many folders is available. Okay, now each and every folder I'll write and I'll show you. Okay, sir, here I am making the colors. This is also important. Okay, now observe very clearly themes. Themes folder is available. Themes is nothing but CSS styles. Okay, dot CSS files. Okay, now if you have any CSS files, where we have to store the CSS files inside the web apps folder, we have to create another one folder called application folder. Inside here we have to create one folder called themes. There we have to mention CSS file. Okay, now if your web application have any images, okay, now your web application have any images, here we have to create another one folder called images. In that images folder here we have to store .gif, or we can say .jpg files. Okay, now this type of files where we have to store inside the images folder. Okay, now next the third one. Okay, now here I am writing about literature. Okay, try to understand there is a literature. Okay, inside the literature here we have documents. Okay, now documentation is there now. Whatever the application you are doing, all the application documentations is available. All the documentations, or we can say PDFs, here we have tried inside the literature. Okay, now what I am saying here, are you able to understand, sir, everyone? Docs and PDF files. Okay, next last one. This is an important, sir. That is nothing but source. Source is an important. Inside the source, here we have to mention which files? .java files. Okay, now .java files. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying here? Response, are everyone? Okay, now inside the source, here we have to mention which files? .java files. Next, after that, here we have HTML is there. HTML is there. Inside the HTML, here we have to mention .html files. .html files. Next, JSP is there. Okay, now JSP, Java server pages. Inside inside the JSP folder, here we have to mention .jsp files. .jsp files. Okay, now if you are creating each and everything, that is the professional highway. Okay, now perfect web application structure I am teaching here. Okay, now here in this folder, if you have that CSS files, you can create themes. If you have images, you can create images folder or docs folder. So like that, here we have to create. Okay, now this is a high standard way, sir. But in this case, the source is an important. Okay, now the source is an important. Okay, now observe very clearly. First of all, okay, now here go observe very clearly. Here web apps is available now. Just click on that web apps folder. Any folder is available here. Few folders is available inside the web apps. Docs, examples, host manager, manager root. Okay, now for example, now I want to create one web applications. Where I have to create the web applications? Inside the web apps folder. Inside the web apps folders, here we have to create another one separate folder called web.inf folder. Which folder, sir? Web.inf folder. Now I want to create one web applications. Where I have to create the folder? Tell me. First, go to Tomcat 10.1. Next, go to web apps. Here, what I have to create? Web.inf folder. Here, definitely you should create the folder name also web.inf, and that should be in the capital letter. This is the important thing. Now what I am teaching. Okay, web-inf. Okay, now here the web-inf is there now. Folder name is also upper cases, and that hyphen is also required. Okay, so perfect way. So like that, here we have to create folder like, what is the folder name? Web.inf folder. Okay, now sir, what I am saying, are you able to understand? Web.inf folder. Inside that web.inf folder, here we have to create again two folders is available. What are the two folders? Is nothing but the first important folder I will show you. That is nothing but web.xml. Okay, now what is the first folder here? Web.xml, or we can say jar files also. Jar files is available in lib folder. So here I am writing lib folder. Inside the lib folder, which files is available here? .jar files is available, but no need to concentrate on this lib files, but here we have to concentrate on what, sir? Web.xml. Okay, now web.xml. Now first of all, okay, open Tomcat 10.1. Go to inside the web apps folder. Inside the web apps, we have to create folder called what? Web.inf folder. Okay, now web.inf folder. Inside the web.inf, again we have to create what, sir? Web.xml folder. Okay, now web.xml folder. Okay, observe very clearly. This part is important. Okay, now this I am writing in a blue color. Okay, now that blue color now inside this part, this blue color part. This part is important. Okay, now so we have to do this tomorrow or day after tomorrow. We have to create this first web.inf. Inside the web.inf, we have to create what? Web.xml. Inside the web.xml, what we have to store? Okay, now what we have to store? Only XML files. .xml files we have to store inside the web.xml. Okay, sir, done. Then what about Java? What about servlets? Where we have to store the servlet? So here we have to create another one folder. There we have to create this servlet classes, or we can say .class files. Okay, now observe very clearly here what I am doing. Okay. So here I am creating another one folder called, what is the folder name here? Classes folder. Tell me sir, what is the folder name here? Classes folder. Classes folder. Inside the classes folder, here I am creating whatever the Java files you want here, you can create. Okay, now how many servlet classes are you want here? You can create here. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying here? Response sir. Inside the classes folder, what we have? Java classes dot class files is available. Okay, now which file sir? Dot class files is available. Okay, now observe very clearly what I am writing here. I am making some colors. This colors is also important. Okay, dot class files. This all the stuff programmatically also will do. I think the next class Monday we will discuss this stuff. Okay. Done. And now observe very clearly what I am saying here. First of all, observe sir, we have to open the file called Tomcat 10.1 folder. Inside the Tomcat 10.1 lot of folders is available. I want to check username and password. Which folder I have to go? I want to check username and password. I forgot my username and password. Where I have to check? Conf folder. Okay, I have to start the server. Which folder I have to go? Bin folder. To start the server we have to use bin folder. Okay, now next inside the web apps folder we have to create which folder? web.inf folder. That application context is also okay, no problem. Okay, now that is a perfect high standards code. Whenever we are writing in a real time we can follow that. Okay, now no problem. Now observe very clear, web.inf. Okay, inside the web apps folder which app we have to create? web.inf folder. Inside the web.inf folder, here again we have to create two files. What are the two files? web.xml and classes folder. All the XML files we have to create inside the web.xml. All the class files we have to store inside the classes folder. This is the story about this is the story about what sir? Application. Tell me. Web application directory. Okay, now web application directory structure. In this case, observe very clearly. Here we have one red color stuff is there. Red color stuff. Okay, now that red color is available. Now all the red color stuff is known as a public area. Okay, now the red color stuff is what sir? Public area. Anyone can access, no problem. Okay, now or we can say client area also. The red color stuff is a client area. Next inside blue color is there now. That blue color stuff is a server area. Server area or we can say private area. Okay, now this is that web directory structure, web application directory structure. In the future like a tomorrow or day after tomorrow class we will create first web application. In that web application we have to create this web apps folder. Web apps is already available. Inside the web apps we have to create web.inf. Inside the web.inf here we have to create this web.xml and classes also. Okay, now clear what I am saying? Response are everyone. Are you able to understand? Now observe sir very clearly here what I am saying. Okay, the first step is completed. Download and install the server software, and the second step is also completed. What is the second step here? Create web application directory structure. Now we'll go through the third one, prepare deployment descriptor. Okay, now what is the third file here? Prepare deployment descriptor. Deployment descriptor is nothing but web.xml. Okay, now prepare deployment descriptor is nothing but what's a web.xml file. The web.xml folder is available here inside the web.inf folder. Here we have one web.xml file. The web.xml file is also known as what? Deployment descriptor. Okay, now deployment descriptor. Okay, now and now observe very clearly how to create a web deployment descriptor. Okay, now how to create a deployment descriptor. That stuff now we will discuss. Okay, now observe very clearly. This is a very basic. All the HTML that clear. Okay, now done. Now observe very clearly here what I am writing. Now third step, that is nothing but prepare deployment descriptor. Prepare deployment descriptor. Okay, now observe very clearly what is an deployment descriptor. Okay, observe very clearly here what I am writing. Deployment descriptor is what, sir? Tell me. Deployment descriptor is a tell me what is that? Web.xml file. Deployment descriptor is a web.xml file. Web.xml file. Okay, now it will provide some description. Okay, now it will provide some description, or we can say metadata. Okay, now description or metadata about what? Web application. About web application. Okay, now deployment descriptor is a web.xml file. It will provide some description or metadata about web application. Don't worry about this web application like a web.xml file. First we will create in a notepad only. Okay, now first we will create this Java code in notepad only. Then we will work on that Eclipse IDE also. Whenever we are working on that Eclipse IDE, by default Eclipse IDE provide that web.xml file. No need to write the code. Okay, now by default Eclipse IDE provide the web.xml file. But whenever we are creating that web applications by using notepad, that time we have to type manually. Okay, now observe very clearly how to create an web.xml file. Okay, now so observe very clearly here I am writing web.xml file. Okay, now observe, sir, very clearly. Actually in that HTML, coming to that HTML, okay, everyone knows HTML. Say, sir, no, you guys have completed. Okay, in that HTML we have few tags is having opening brace and closing brace. Okay, now the tag which is having opening brace and closing brace is known as what, sir? Paid tag. The tag which is having only opening brace, that is nothing but unpaid tag. By means few tags is having opening brace and few tags is having both opening and closing also. But in Java, in web.xml file, each and every tag should have opening brace and closing brace. Okay, now if you open any one tag, definitely you should close the tags. There is no unpaid tag. Okay, now in web.xml file everything is what, sir? Paid tag only. Okay, now clear what I am saying here. Now in that inside the web.xml file here we have few tags. I will show you all the tags. Okay, what I am saying, are you able to understand? Now observe very clearly. First here we have one tag called web-app. Okay, now here we have one tag called what, sir? Web-app. Web-app. Okay, now this is the only opening brace. We have to close the tab or not? We have to close the tag or not? Each and everything we have to. If you open any tag, definitely we should close the tag. Okay, now web app. Web app represents web application. Okay, now web app represents what? Web app tag represents what, sir? Web application. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying here? We have one tag called web app tag. Okay, now inside the web app tag there are two tags is available, or we can say two parts is available. Okay, now same inside the HTML tag two parts is available, head part and body part. Inside the web app tag also there are two parts is, or we can say two tags is available. What are the two tags is nothing but the first one is a servlet class. Okay, what is the first one here? Servlet class. Okay, now so here opening brace is there, closing brace is there. Next the second one is an servlet mapping tag. Okay, now what is the second one here? Servlet mapping tag. Servlet mapping tag, the opening brace is there. Again I have to close the tag or not here? Yes, we have to close the tag. Servlet mapping tag. The servlet tag represents the servlet name, servlet class name, like that. Servlet mapping tag represents to map that servlet class. Okay, now to map the servlet class we have to use what? servlet mapping tag. Okay, now totally how many? First of all, here we have one tag called web app. Inside the web app there are two parts, servlet and servlet mapping. Okay, now clear what I am saying here? Inside the servlet tag there are again two tags is available. How many tags is available in the servlet tag? Two tags here we have to use. The first one is an servlet name. Okay, now what is the first one here? Servlet name. Okay, now observe very clearly what I am writing. Okay, now servlet name. Inside the servlet name tag, here we have to provide the logical name. Okay, now here what we have to provide? Tell me, sir, here logical name. What is the logical name? Everything I'll teach you. Okay, now while we are working, if you create one first web application, easily we can understand. What is the first one here? Tell me, logical name. Okay, now this is the first one. Next, after that, here what I have to create? Another one tag called what, sir? Servlet name is completed now. Servlet class. Okay, now we have to create about another one class called servlet class. Okay, here again I have to close the tag or not? So for that, here I am closing servlet class. Okay, now in that servlet class, here we have to write fully qualified name of the servlet. Okay, now fully qualified name of the servlet. Okay, now fully qualified name of the servlet is nothing but qualified name of the servlet is nothing but, for example, my servlet I am going to create one servlet. My servlet class name is welcome servlet. For example, I am creating my servlet name. If you want to create my servlet also, whatever you want you can create. For example, I am going to create one servlet class called welcome servlet. Okay, now in that welcome servlet, here we have to fully qualified name of the servlet is nothing but, before that here we have to mention package also. Okay, now we have to mention what? Package also. It's like a com dot. Okay, now something package name I'll take magnitude, com dot magnitude dot welcome servlet. So like that is the reason. Okay, what we are able to write? Are you able to understand what I have to write here? Okay, now logical name is nothing but some servlet name. Next, fully qualified name is nothing but, here we have to write servlet package with the servlet class name. Okay, now next, this is the story about which class here? Servlet class. Sorry, tag, servlet tag. Inside the servlet mapping tag, here also we have, there are two tags is available. First tag is servlet name. Whatever the class is available, whatever the tag is available in the servlet name, that tag only we can write here, no problem. Okay, now we have to write. Next, the second one here. Okay, now the second one here we have to write URL pattern. I mean here we are mapping, sir, URL pattern. Okay, now here I am closing that pattern also. URL pattern. URL pattern. Okay, now so like that. In this case, in this URL pattern here, okay, now in that server we have to type something in http colon / localhost 1010 colon. The app name we have to write like a login slash. After that, here we have to type something now. That thing here we have to type. Okay, now in this URL pattern, here I am writing something. Here we have to write like a pattern name. Okay, now here we have to write what, sir? Pattern name. Okay, file syntax. Okay, now this is a web.xml file syntax. Okay, here I'll show you the one example also. Okay, now here I'll show you the example for web.xml file. Okay, now here I will write web.xml file syntax. Okay, done. Observe very clearly here what I am saying. I'll copy this, I'll paste it directly. I'll copy this and I'll paste it directly. Okay, in this case now observe very clearly. Okay, first web app tag is there, opening brace and closing brace. There are two ports is available, servlet and servlet mapping. Inside the servlet name, here for example, here I am writing login servlet. Okay, now here I am writing my servlet name is login servlet. Some name here I am writing. Okay, here we have to write what? Fully qualified name of the servlet. Okay, so tell me how. For example, here I am writing com dot. Okay, now com dot. For example, Surendra, otherwise something com dot Surendra dot servlets dot. Okay, now what is the servlet name here? Login servlet. So like that here we have to write. Okay, are you able to understand what I am saying? What is the fully qualified name? Next, logical name. What is the logical name here? Login servlet. Here we have to write what, sir? Login servlet. Next, here URL pattern. What I want to type the URL pattern here? For example, just whatever you want. No, not required to write everything. For example, just here I am writing login. That's enough. Okay now, while you are executing the code in that server, okay now, in that server, just here we have to type http localhost colon 1010 colon. Next, here we have to type what is the servlet name here? Login servlet. Just here we have to type here pattern is there. What is the pattern? Login is there. Just you type login. That's it. Okay now the application we will get. Okay now we'll get the application. The application will be deployed. Okay now everything I'll show you, sir. Okay now, are you able to understand what I am saying here? Response, sir. Are you able to understand what I am saying here? Observe very clearly here. I'll write one point, another one point here. As per the above servlet configuration. As per the above servlet configuration in web.xml. Okay now, web.xml. As per the above servlet configuration in web.xml file, we are able to access the servlet class. We are able to access the servlet class. By using the following URL. Okay now, by using what, sir? Following URL. Okay, are you able to understand what's the URL here? http localhost 1010 login servlet. Otherwise login servlet, or we can write here no need servlet name, just login app name also you can write, no problem, just login app. Okay now, some name. Next, what we have to write here? Login. Okay now, what is the login here? Here we are liking pattern now. That pattern here we have to type. Okay now, are you able to understand, sir? This is the story about deployment descriptor. Okay now, this is the story about what, sir? Deployment descriptor. Deployment descriptor is nothing but what? Web.xml file. Which file? Web.xml file. Okay now, clear? Any doubt?